Facebook family. We are live here on Comic Spot, where this Army veteran right here vets out veterans of comedy like James Esterline today sitting there, who is originally from Chicago, living in St. Petersburg, tearing up the comedy scene like a true veteran. Let's talk to him. Let's get to know him, you guys. He's a really cool dude. I love him. Hi, James.
Hey, Linda, how you doing?
Good. How are you doing in Florida today?
Great. Just trying to stay positive, keep my energy up.
Exactly. What's the latest with the pandemic reopening down there?
They went back a step, I believe. They closed the bars down. So
All right.
one show got canceled that was for next week because of that. So
What a bummer.
there's 2 shows coming up this week I'm going to do.
You do have some shows, but they're not at bars?
They're not even a paid show. They're just like a sign-up show. They're coffee houses.
Super. Those are safe. You can social distance and keep the numbers low, right?
Yeah, they got to do that. They were supposed to do that at the bars, but nobody was.
No, that's so true. Vegas is
going.
What's that?
That isn't why people go to bars, to stay away from each other,
No. Vegas is going back a step too. They had opened up and now they're going backwards on some of the bigger venues. So it's kind of a crapshoot, hit and miss. But
did it have a mandatory where you have to wear a mask? Mandatory?
Yeah, that's what they're saying. But a lot of people
has that.
Are people abiding by it here? Not so much.
Oh, it's mandatory here, so you can't go inside anywhere.
Yeah.
If they let you in, the sheriff department will shut you down.
Yeah, well, it's not really being monitored here. I've seen a lot of it go unchecked. So I want to go back. We're doing a redo because James is that cool, you guys. If I've interviewed you and I did it on lousy equipment, let me redo it. That's what James, he's so humble to let me come back and re-interview him. Take me back through your childhood road to getting on comedy. And then I'll ask you later about since you've been in comedy and what your future plans are after the pandemic. But for now, take us through when you were first funny or getting on stage. I want to be in those moments with you when you were a kid, being funny, being told you were funny, to your first time on stage.
Well, I was born in Chicago, and then we moved to Michigan, and I grew up in Grand Rapids. And I've always grown up I was always funny, but I didn't think I wanted to be I didn't know you could be a comedian. I didn't know how that worked. I was a little kid. And then I started watching stuff like Eddie Murphy, Raw, and I always watched Saturday Night Live. All comedies are my favorite. And then George Carlin and Sam Kinison. This is when I was like 12, when I was like, oh, I want to do that someday,
Yeah.
And then I got put in a foster care home after being a little hooligan because I grew up on the streets, I told you that before. I'm from the streets. My balls are from the streets, too. You're probably wondering what street my balls are from.
Uh-huh.
It's actually cul-de-sac. So then after that, I was living on my own, kind of out of the streets, out of a van. I started working for a company delivering drywall for like 5 years. And then I moved to Florida and I started bartending, and I've been bartending for like 20 years. And about almost 4 years ago, I said, I'm going to go. Well, I was like I told you before, Ric Flair was one of the guests at one of my bars, talked me into going on stage. Get on stage.
What was that like, having him talk you into going on stage?
I got so many really good Ric Flair stories, but he's one of the nicest people I ever met. He signed a comic book for me that I made. I made a comic book. He asked me to sign it for him. He signed a picture of himself for me once, and then once he asked me to sign a comic book for him that I gave him. It's pretty cool. It's kind of blows your mind,
You're a comic book author and illustrator.
Yeah, I tried. I'm working on a few indie comics right now.
Oh, cool. So when you do shows, do you sell any of that as merchandise after?
No. We take it to the comic book convention, which they canceled, of course, because of COVID. And sell it at the
Exactly.
comic book convention. I sold out my first comic book there, in Tampa.
When was that?
Uh, at the Tampa Bay Comic Con about 5 years ago.
Wow.
There's one I'm working on right now for these guys that are stand-up comedians, and they do a satire skit show called Tampa News Force, and then we're making a Tampa News Force comic book. It's pretty funny.
Wow. So how many years ago did you get on stage for the first time with the help of Ric Flair?
Almost 4 years ago.
And about how many times have you been on stage in 4 years, James? That's what I find amazing.
Oh, I don't know, hundreds and hundreds of times now.
That's what it takes. And you're
Oh, I don't
so
know.
funny.
I used to host a show last year, and I'm hosting a show now, but due to COVID, we can't do it still. So, every week, and then every open mic I still go to that I can. So at least once or twice a week for 4 years, at
So
least.
when COVID ends, where can people find your show?
It's at Emerald City Comics up in Clearwater. And the first Saturday of every other month, we do a show there. And it's a comics loving comics. So if you're into comic books or sci-fi or pop culture or stuff like that, and you do comedy, then I put you up, and we just split all the money evenly between them. It's all tips that they collect. So it's kind of a paid show.
Very
And
lovely.
then it's a free room, so we have fun.
Cool.
It's a big room. We've put 50 people in there the first show, and then he's got another room that seats about 150 people if it gets bigger.
Give me 1 second. I unplugged my cord.
Oh,
Linda unplugged. So you do a lot of characters, and you have quite a few pages on Facebook and on the internet where people can follow you. Tell us a few of the characters that are a fan favorite.
my favorite is Bobo, the gorilla, the Mexican gorilla. He's got his own Facebook page called Ask Bobo, and you ask him questions. He's kind of created with like the voice of Ren. I kind of did, from Ren and Stimpy, and maybe Cheech Marin mixed together. He's a Mexican gorilla. He was born in a zoo in Mexico. His mom was taken from the Congo. That's why he's Mexican, and he jumped over Trump's stupid border wall to come here and do comedy and stand up for the good people in the United States.
That's a fan. So that's the fan favorite. Is there another one that's a favorite in the crowd?
That's probably the fan favorite for the crowd. I can't walk into a comedy club without someone calling me Bobo.
That's so cool.
Here's Bobo. Then they want me to be Bobo that night. I'm like, I haven't done that in a couple months, so he'll be back sooner or later. You can't let the character get bigger than me,
You host a show, and you have all these pages on Facebook. And have you opened for some pretty big talent that's come through Tampa?
I got asked to open for the Reverend Bob Levy and Artie Fletcher.
Wow.
That was probably the best show I got to, do.
All
the other shows that I've done were local comedians. Some of them that were local are now doing pretty darn good out in California. Like Kyle Neely, I opened for him, and he killed it. And that was in Bradenton. And now he's out in California kicking real ass. He's making a name for himself.
Wonderful. So what was it like opening up for Artie Fletcher and Reverend Bob Levy?
It was kind of scary, I don't know. Even though I've been serving celebrities at the bar for years and years, I never opened for them, and I was trying to impress them, so it was scary.
Yeah,
I did better than I thought I did after thinking I didn't do as good, after rewatching the tape from it. And I told some Trump jokes, and I didn't realize that they weren't going to go over so well,
You didn't realize they were going to go over that well?
It was a Trump crowd, so I had to adjust and finish strong, you know, because they didn't like the 2 or 3 Trump jokes I told.
Yeah. So what's in the cards for you after the pandemic? What kind of projects are you dipping your hands in because of extra time you have on your hands?
Well, I'm working on the comic books. I'm going to be hosting the show, and then I'm going to keep on bartending, and then do shows wherever I can, of course.
Mhm.
And then hopefully get that comic book done in time for the next Comic Con at least.
How often do you have Comic Cons, James?
Well, there's different ones, and they're all over Florida. So usually it's the summertime when they tour all over the states. So we got the Fanboy Con, and there's the Mega Con, and there's the Comic Con, and then there's a Super Con in Miami. So there's a bunch of them. It just, even during the winter, they rotate through the states like this too. Well, usually it's a summer tour.
Has it been hard keeping your spirits up through this whole pandemic?
Some stuff yeah, I guess it's kind of takes the energy out of you. Like I was telling you earlier, I like to keep my energy up, and
Yeah.
you go to a store, and then I hate wearing the mask, but it's law now; it's mandated. And then somebody comes in the store without one, and they tell them they got to get out. I kind of feel bad for them. Then I'm like, well, you know, it's the rules, knucklehead. Or someone standing 6 feet away from you just because they have their mask on. Before it didn't bother me, and now it's supposed to bother me. It's confusing me, you know.
So
I don't think they should have to wear a mask if they don't want to. I'll wear one if you want me to, but don't. It's an issue now.
I know, and
I mean,
everybody's
ninjas wear masks, right? Ninjas are badass. Who doesn't like ninjas? My Spider-Man joke is Spider-Man wears a mask and he saves the city from bad guys, right? Y'all think you're better than Spider-Man? You can't wear a mask too? Does your Uncle Ben have to die first? Put the mask on.
So you go to these Comic Cons and you do all of these things with characters. So are you planning on like doing sketch comedy writing? I know you have a lot of video footage of you and your characters. Have you been playing with sketch writing, or do you
Yeah, I wrote a
consider that?
sketch that. Sorry, go ahead.
That's okay. You go right ahead.
Where I wrote a sketch that we're gonna do at a restaurant that I bartended, and it's called it's like a law firm I created called Karen, Karen, and Karen. And if you don't feel like asking for a manager and being that bitch, then just call us at Karen, Karen, and Karen, and we'll send a Karen right to your restaurant, right to your table to speak to your server and get you a manager there at the table right away. And then they'll hand out little business cards. There's 3 girls with Karen cuts I work with that are going to be in the video. Karen, Karen, and Karen. It's going to be a fun sketch.
You don't want to abbreviate that though.
Okay. Oh, that's right. Yeah, not affiliated with the KKK since 1959. Karen, Karen, and Karen.
They come in.
It'll be in parentheses on the bottom. Yeah, not affiliated.
Yeah, this is the long version of the KKK, not the short one, not the dangerous one.
The other thing I'm doing with that is we're making a Karen movie, and it's gonna be like a prank joke live hidden camera Karen movie, and we're gonna follow a Karen around for like a couple days, and then squish it all into a little movie. Just take her out to brunch, you know, and just have her go overboard being Karen. It's called Karen, not a care in the world.
You know what I think would be fun for you to do? If you could do it for me, I would so appreciate it. Have a Karen pair up with a Black person and go into places and they don't know Karen is with the Black person. And then Karen calls for the manager for the Black person.
That's funny. There's Black Karens too I've dealt with at my bar before. They've asked for the managers too. Everybody is a Karen. Doesn't matter what your hair looks like. Everybody is a Karen once in a while. Exactly. I've been a Karen before, you know.
Yes. I had some people wondering if I was shoplifting at Walmart the other day, and I asked for the manager, and I thought, you are such a Karen, but it was
No,
making me
there's a
upset.
Karen.
What?
There's a Karen at Sam's Club today. This lady was trying to tell the employees how to do their job, and she was like third in line. She wasn't even in line, next or anything. She was behind us. It's like, Karen, you need to shut up. She didn't know who said it because I had a mask on. So I said, shut up, Karen.
I love spouting off at people behind my mask because now I can actually verbalize the words out loud where only I hear it. Before I had to think it in my head, like, get the hell out of here, you son of a bitch. Now I can actually say those words, just not audibly for anyone else, but it feels better, no one can see
They can't
me
see your
mouthing.
lips moving. You can say it and say, I didn't say anything. I don't know what you're talking about. It
Yeah.
must have been her.
Yeah. Well, I have to keep the video short, and I've been online I've got 4 more minutes. So if you would like to do anything for the next 4 or 5 in the way of comedy to make people laugh, and we'll sign out after that, or some inspiration you want to say, anything inspiring to people.
I texted you that joke I wrote.
Yeah.
And it's like, can I even tell jokes now? Is somebody going to get mad at me, or is somebody going to turn it into a debate? And it goes, because yesterday they announced in the budget for New York City that they're taking $1.1 billion from the police force. The lady on the news said it. I heard it today. And they said that's 10% less presence for the police. And I said, well, if they were naughty in the first place, why would Santa give them any? And I just got into like 2 debates over telling 2 people that joke. I'm like, I'm just going to ask Linda what she thinks.
I love the joke. I love
it insinuates joke. I don't know how to spell presents, and it insinuates I believe in Santa Claus, and it brings awareness to what's going on with the fucking police all over our country right now.
You could even spin the joke into how, the police are the only ones that can be naughty and have handcuffs,
Yeah, and still be on the nice list.
Yeah, and still be on the nice list.
Oh, you got handcuffs.
Yeah.
I get you.
Something like that.
I get you.
They're so privileged. They're supposed to be nice, but they have handcuffs. It's very confusing. I don't know where you could go with it. But there's something there. I know there's something there.
I'll let you pick a number out of my book like I do on stage sometimes.
Okay.
I'll bring my book.
Number 4.
I got a new book. I'm trying to transfer all my old ones into my new book.
That's so cool that you do that.
They're all numbered to 377, I think I'm at. And not all of them, not even close to all of them have ever been on stage.
I want number 4.
377 says, I don't know about you, but I like having a good smoke after taking a poop, just like after sex.
Yes, absolutely. Get that sphincter back in place.
All right, pick a number.
4.
Oh, that's going way back.
Yeah, I want to hear your shitty stuff.
I got invited to a White House party by Barack Obama. And he came up to me and he was like, hey, James, you're a famous comedian, right? I'm like, clearly, obviously. I told this joke like my first time on stage too. Yeah, I'm a famous comedian. Why else would you invite me to the White House? Well, I had to think of a reason why he would invite me there. Obviously, I'm a famous comedian, right? He's like, well, let me tell you some jokes that you could tell on stage. And then you could tell the people that I told them to you so they think I'm a funny president. I'm like, all right, Barry, fire away. He's like, all right. He's like, I got a white grandmother and I have a black grandmother, right, James? I'm like, yeah, I know, Barry, because you're half white, half black, like my cousin Jenny. He's like, yeah. He's like, what do you think I used to call my white grandmother? I'm like, I don't know, Barry, what? He said, I used to call her my graham cracker.
That's great. I love that.
And then he
always wants some more of it. Get it? Some more.
Yeah. And he goes, hey, James, let me tell you another one. I'm like, all right, Barry, fire away. He said, if Adolf Hitler would have been a gay man, what would he call his army? I was like, I don't know, Barry, what? He said the FF.
The what?
The FF, Linda. FF. That's stupid. Those are the, no, yeah, okay, Barry. They don't get any better from, pick a different number, Linda.
222.
222, triple deuce. All right, you guys.
I like
If
the
it's not
idea.
funny, it's,
I like the idea of gay SS. You know, it could stand for snakeskin purses,
the FF.
strawberry shampoo.
Where is it? Oh, I went to see the Trans-Siberian Orchestra. You ever heard of them? They're cool.
Yes, yes.
But I was kind of disappointed. They sounded great and all, but I asked for my money back, and the guy's like, why? I'm like, I didn't see a single drag queen in the whole show, bro.
Ah, gotcha.
All right, pick a different number.
The Siberians were husky. Let's see.
Trans. They're supposed to be trans, and they weren't.
Yes.
The guy with the flute was kind of cute, though.
101.
101.
And that'll be our wrap up one. That'll be our last one.
Funny. I hope it is.
I hope it's
funny. I mean, like 99% of these I never told on stage, you know.
That's cool. It's a way to do it. I would have the audience pick an envelope.
It says, don't ever call your girlfriend Karen unless her name is actually Karen. It just said like things to remember. And I wrote that down next to it.
That's like a life hack. Hashtag side note. For
she will ask for a manager.
She'll confirm it with the manager. Am I really a Karen? He called me a Karen. You've been awesome to do this. I hope that Florida gets safe and sane and opens up real soon for you. And anytime you want to come back and like once a month and do some characters, feel free to hit me up, or when you have things opening up and want to plug them. And I'm glad I got to get you on good equipment. And I didn't I didn't keep the interview to 10 minutes because I couldn't.
That's what I was going to tell you. Everywhere I go, people are always, nowadays, you know, they're like, stay healthy, stay safe. And I don't ever say that to anybody, you know, because if they're like, okay, and then they get unsafe or sick, they're going to feel like they let me down, you know. And they're my buddies. I don't want that.
Good for you. Don't say it to people.
Don't say it, you guys.
Because when people tell me to do something, I go do the opposite. Don't tell me to stay safe.
Linda, do what she wants.
Now I'm going to be a conformist. Thank you,
Rebel.
James. Bye, James. Love you lots.
All right,
Come back. Come back.
All right.
Thank
I look forward to it.
Thanks for bearing with the time stuff.
Oh, thanks for having fun with me.
Thank you, James. Bye.
Everybody's talking.